Hello and thanks once again for joining me on the Wee Magic podcast. Now today I want to discuss why I believe exposure isn't necessarily a bad thing. Now as magicians, as performers, people who buy or make or sell magic tricks, magic effects, it is annoying when you see someone, you're just scrolling on Facebook or TikTok and you see someone just exposing something that maybe you've paid money for or you've created, or maybe you've had nothing to do with it. Maybe you don't even use it. You have no intention of buying or using this prop, this item, or this method, this technique. But it's still frustrating to see someone expose it online because we put work in. It's part of our world. Being a magician is being secretive to an extent, and it is frustrating. I can only imagine how big creators feel when their creations are ripped off. You go to, there are about 50 Chinese websites, I hear, that sell knockoff items for a fraction of the price of the original item. The quality is also often a fraction as good, so buyer beware. But I can only imagine how these people feel when their creations are being revealed by some little person online, on YouTube, on TikTok, who's only doing it for likes. And don't get me wrong, I understand why they do it. On YouTube, on TikTok, likes, follows, subscribers, they all equal money. And there are a few people exposing magic tricks, exposing methods, who are making a lot of money. So you think, should I just do that? But then that's not what magic's all about, is it? And also, if we all do that, the market becomes too saturated and no one makes any money. But those people who were originally doing it, they've still got their money, so they're not going to lose anything. So yeah, let's not do that. Don't do it. But exposure isn't necessarily a bad thing. You know, there's a great saying in magic: the door to magic is closed, but it's not locked. And I think that's perfect, because I learned a bit later in life about magic. I learned when I was almost 30, and I started doing magic when I was 30, for other people, I mean. And the way I learned was, the way I was interested was through the internet, through rewatching David Blaine specials, seeing other magicians on YouTube, and then going online and buying a couple of books. Magic by Joshua J. and The Complete Idiot's Guide to Magic by various magicians. And those books, especially the Joshua J one, set me on a path, and I couldn't wait to learn more and more and more. Eventually I was buying DVDs and downloads more than I was books, and then I sort of reverted back because there's so much in a book. You can buy a book, it's got 200 routines, or you can spend the same money, buy a DVD or a download these days, which has got one trick, one routine. But you know that anyway. But the point is, seeing an exposure video online might be the thing that gets a kid or an adult interested in magic. They might see a trick and think, oh, that's really cool, and then in the same video, that same person who performed the trick reveals how it works. Then that kid or that adult thinks, oh, I'm going to rewatch that, I can learn to do that. Learn to do, say it's a colour change, simple colour change. Like, wow, I can show my friends this, I can show my family this. I wonder what else I can learn. Let's type in how to learn magic. Oh look, there's a book I can buy. Oh look, there's a download I can buy. Your first 12 magic tricks. Magic by Joshua J. I'll spend a couple of quid and get that. And then that's them. That could be them on the path to becoming a professional magician. Who knows? But less and less people are going to libraries these days, which is a shame, but it's a sad truth. Less and less people are going to libraries, checking out books on magic, checking out books on anything. They're more likely to go online, and this is the way it happens now. So to me, it's more feasible that someone will see a magic video online, a trick exposed, and that'll pique their interest in the world of magic, than them seeing a trick performed without exposure and running to their local library to say, oh, can we get any books on magic? That's the way it should be, that's the way we all want it to be, but it's never going to be that again. We'll have to deal with it, sorry. Another argument for exposure not being necessarily a bad thing is that it could kick you up the bum. Force innovation. So People have seen how this certain trick works. Well, in that case, let's change it so it works this way. Let's change just a tiny thing about it, but that'll be enough to throw off any layman who think they know how it works. I mean, exposure is inevitable. In this day and age, with TikTok, with YouTube, with Instagram Reels, Facebook Reels, people are going to expose, whether they're making money from it, whether they're just doing it for their own ego, whatever. It's going to keep happening. There's nothing we can do to stop it, so we can either adapt or we can sit and complain about it. And we can get certain videos taken down, certain products removed if they're knockoff products or if they are videos exposing a copyrighted or trademarked effect. Speaking of which, why don't magicians patent their creations? Well, it's because it costs money to patent your creation. Also, people think anyone could walk into the patent office or, the equivalent online, go to the patent website and look up and see the plans for their effect, see how it works, so they don't have to pay to buy that effect, and they can make it themselves, they can sell their own knockoff version. That's not going to happen. It's not as easy as you think it is. It's not 1822 and you can walk into your local patent office and say, "Good morrow, I would like to see the plans for Craig Pitty's chop, please." It's not that easy. No one's going to go to that much effort, I don't think. Remember, it's magic. We are a bit of a cottage industry, meaning we're like that. There's a whole world out there. As a wrestling fan, I know this all too well. For years, I was obsessed with wrestling. I still watch it every week. I still go to every live event I can. I love it. But for years, I thought everyone in the world knows who Triple H is. Everyone in the world knows who Kurt Angle is. Most people didn't. Despite being a billion-dollar franchise, but despite having millions and millions and millions of viewers, followers, fans around the globe, millions and millions and millions more had never heard of these people, had never watched wrestling. They heard the word wrestling, they thought, "Oh yeah, that's that stuff for kids," or yeah, like magic, So take that and think about that in magic terms. We're an even smaller industry than professional wrestling. So no one is as bothered about magic as us. And also, presentation will always trump method. If someone knows how a certain trick or effect works and you present it well enough, they're going to forget, or they're not going to care how it works. They're not going to sit there and think, "Oh yeah, that's because he had the thing palmed and the..." They're not going to think about that. They're going to think, "That was amazing, thank you very much for showing me that." So, presentation over method. Now, I say all this, I've taught magic. I've shown magic online, I've shown magic to kids in a class setting, and I'll show them how to make a coin vanish. I'll show them the most basic card force sometimes. I'll show them how to do tricks with a straw or with a piece of rope or rubber bands. But I'm never going to show them how to do Child's Play by Chris Congreve. I'm never going to show them how to do Diminishing Not Likely by Paul Gordon. But I show these tricks in the hope that one of these kids, or two of these kids, or all of these kids will get a real interest in magic and go and do some research and learn more and start it as a hobby, because it really is a fun hobby. And it helps kids come out of their shell, it helps adults come out of their shell. But yeah, I'm not saying all this to say go and start exposing magic because it doesn't matter. I'm not saying that at all. It does matter. But when you see someone else exposing magic online for a few likes or whatever, try not to worry about it. Just scroll past. If you're really bothered, you can hit the 3 dots on Facebook or Instagram, I think. On TikTok, you can hold the screen with your thumb for a few seconds, and then you just hit not interested, or I don't want to see this, or hide all from this creator, and that's all you have to do. But as always, I would love to hear your thoughts. Get in touch at theweemagicpod@gmail.com. I'll double check that. Or on Facebook, you can find us at The Wee Magic Pod. Leave a comment, leave a like, hit subscribe, and thank you so much for watching, for listening, and I'll see you next time. I'm telling you, Dave, exposure is ruining the art of magic. It's like giving away the secret sauce to a Big Mac. Malcolm, mate, if people knew what was actually in a Big Mac, they'd still eat it. Same with magic. Half the people who know how a trick works still go, wait, do it again. That's because they're hoping we'll mess up and cry on stage. The vultures. Vultures, Dave. Relax, Gandalf. Look, when Penn and Teller reveal a trick, it doesn't kill the magic, it shows how clever it is. It's like watching a behind the scenes of Mission Impossible. You still love Tom Cruise, even if he's clinging to the outside of a plane using duct tape and Scientology. It's not the same. Magic is sacred. It's passed down from generation to generation in dimly lit basements with awkward handshakes and suspicious card stains. And that's the problem. Half the secrets are hidden behind a paywall and a badly filmed VHS. Maybe if we shared just a little more, people would stop thinking every magician is just a lonely bloke in a cape living with his mum. But I live with her because she enjoys the company. Yeah, she also told me your invisible deck is in the freezer next to the fish fingers. Well, that's where I keep the real secrets. Look. Exposure isn't the end, it's a challenge. If your whole act falls apart because someone saw a TikTok about double lifts, maybe it's time to write some better patter. I have good patter. And good jokes. I once made a rabbit disappear and insulted the mayor in the same act. Yeah, and you get banned from the town hall and the pet shop. Worth it. Well, join us next week when Malcolm files a cease and desist against a 7-year-old with a YouTube channel called How He Did It. She used my sponge bunnies, Dave. Mine!